Welcome back to Crypto Cosm, everybody.
We got a lot to talk about. We've been saying we're going to bring some coins for you guys. Well, today is that day. We're going to talk about those coins, but there's a few other things I want to talk to.
Today's the day.
First.
Today's the day.
Now we've been going over these Bitcoin charts time and time again, and we're still like spot on. We bounced it. What'd you just say to me earlier? 62.50.
62.50, something like that.
62.50, and we bounced back up. So we were heading in a little bit of a decline, and the resistance that I had put out was 6,200. So we just barely came in and just kind of tapped that bottom. And now we're starting to move in the other direction. And we're getting this constant push, this constant pull. It's like this little bit dance that's going on right now. And we're just kind of evening out. I know everybody's saying, well, it's dead. It's just not doing anything. They're sitting here like poking at it, like waiting for it to do something, right? And this is normal. This is called capitulation. I'm going to say that one more time, just because I like saying it. Capitulation. Okay, we're starting to see this flat line, this realization of true value of where we're at here in the market. And I think we should pull up the charts right about now. So as we've kind of even out these lower highs and these higher lows, we're getting a little bit more direct wedge here, and we're beginning to see where we're actually going to be able to break out. So we're not relating this so much to the larger highs and lows like we were seeing earlier in the year, April, May, March, et cetera, et cetera. So, and we're still looking like this could go on for a little bit of time, maybe even into October.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even
Definitely.
into October.
Definitely
maybe even
into
in the
October.
first or second week of October.
I would say that's definitely in line with what I see upstairs. Now, right now we're at, we talked about that big square happening or fixed cross happening, right? So we have 4 big planets squaring each other. Planets squaring each other is tension that we've talked about on the show plenty of times. And Venus, our planet of money, is squaring Mars, our planet of action. And it's very precise today. Today it's like this fixed cross is exact. Venus is exactly opposite to Uranus. And again, this is like my money, your money. What's mine? What's yours? What is, my material possessions and what is these shared resources, and how we kind of balance those out as what this is all about. The zodiac is all about balance. And when we have Mars squaring Venus, Mars is saying, let's go toward the community. Venus is squaring it up there in Scorpio. Again, that's a sign of shared resources, Scorpio. 8th house, shared resources. So it's really interesting. And again, Uranus is it's in the sign of Taurus, which is, again, our material possessions, our money. And it's saying, let's break this stuff up. We talked about this a week or so ago, that this was going to be a very hard aspect that we're going to be dealing with. And it's not lightening up. On the 18th, we start to see the Sun and Mercury squaring Saturn. This is not easy aspects. This is definitely going to be happening up and through October 8th, I believe. But there's still other aspects going on that are going to be even difficult then. So what you're saying with what your chart lines up exactly with what I'm seeing in the astro charts.
It's crazy. Even in just the little bump up that we drew in here into the chart, I mean, according to the Bollinger Bands, the moving averages and how we look at these charts. So for those of you who don't know what the Bollinger Bands are, it's a set of 3 different lines and it looks like a giant fat cloud rolling through. And the price tends to just kind of bounce inside of this cloud between the highs, the lows, and the mids. And right now we're bouncing off the low, and once we come up into the 18th, we're almost going to be ready to bounce again off of the high and come right back down. So it's very, very clear to see some of these signs and how these planets have played a part in almost moving these pieces just like a marionette. It's been fantastic.
And that's what it is. It's like when we look at these, the astrological clock, it's exactly that. It's just a clock that's like, well, it's not predicting the future. Astrology is not religion. It is not against religion, and it is certainly not in the same as tarot or scrying, looking into a crystal ball. It's just simply understanding how to read the clock. So, and that clock kind of plays a role on human behavior as far as what these tensions are. Again, if you're in an auditorium and you're hearing peaceful music, it's going to have an effect on you. If you're in that same auditorium and you're hearing like, have you ever seen Irreversible? The sounds they played in this movie are, they're made to put you on edge, and it's just like
a horror movie.
Exactly. Like we can't always hear the song of the universe, I guess you could say, but that doesn't mean it's not affecting us. Mm-hmm. And that's the way I like to look at the astrology. So again, not saying that I'm, that any of this is predicting. I'm just simply saying, hey, the 18th is the beginning of another hard aspect, and on the 26th, it's going to be even harder. It's when it kind of tightens up even more and becomes a more difficult as those planets become exact. So it's just reading this big clock and saying, hey, well, we're at 3 o'clock and it's, in 6 hours it'll be 9. That's not a prediction. That's just simply knowing that it's going to be 9 o'clock in a few hours. So in a few days here, we've got a little grace. What's going to happen in between here, the 19th or the 18th, and then following through into the 26th when it becomes exact? It looks like pressure. It looks like tension. It looks like, and we talked about this before the show, that Bitcoin is coming to a consolidation point, which is good. But the alt market right now is taking a beating.
Down. I mean, we're seeing like mid 2017 prices on altcoins. I mean, even Cardano is going down to almost 6 cents, back to back to 2 before November of 2017, and it's just crushing the prices of the alt market, and I find that fascinating. Like,
absolutely,
we're coming up to a time where we have so many enormous events coming up. I mean, we have NASDAQ's new exchange. We have BACT, which is going to be the New York City Stock Exchange. We have Binance. I mean, there's just so many major events that are just going to be game changers for whales and institutions to move in and get ready for what is to come. And it's so hard for me to believe that after this market cycle's completed, after we're flatlining here, that with all of these things going on, that we're going to see another bear market cycle. Right. Could it happen? Absolutely, sure. I just don't see the signs. I just don't see the signs. But another thing to keep in mind is we've had this wave of, let's say, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Like we discussed this earlier as well, that these three really have run the show for, I would say, the majority of the last 2 years, right? Like, The first wave was like just Bitcoin. And then we had something pop up here, something pop up there. We had some more coins. I mean, we've got over almost 350 coins that joined the club in the last 6 to 7 weeks. We're almost at 2,000 different types of cryptocurrency.
And we're seriously seeing a lot of people, and there's a ton of people that want to make the biggest amount of money as possible. Retail employees, or just, working at a restaurant or whatever it is, when we have this kind of income, and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to try to go for whatever is at a fraction of a penny or whatever is less than $1, and I'm going to pull out of this big money stuff, because it's like, well, if Bitcoin doubles at 6,000, if I have one Bitcoin, if I've been every month I've been putting $100 into Bitcoin or whatever it is, because that's all I can simply afford, well, then in order for yours, well, it would probably cost you $10,000 to get a Bitcoin at 6,000 if you've been putting in $100 every, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Because of the fluctuation of the price. But For that to double up, you have to wait until it hits 12,000 or 18,000, 19,000, which is like the highest it's ever been before you're actually seeing a 3 times gain. So it's just like, well, if this is going to be the new gold standard, certainly it's worth having a Bitcoin in your portfolio. But if you're honestly just trying to like say, hey, this is the time right now to get in this gold rush, this new wave of gold rush, there's 3-4% of the population, we can, if now is the time, well, what am I going to look at? And it's the smaller coins. And it's interesting, like, yes, we're seeing this happen. We're seeing a flux in these smaller coins coming in. And then we're also seeing this getting just bombarded. And it's just like up, down, where you're like, I want to just kind of like keel over and cry because I've just spent so much and I bought the dip and I bought the dip and I bought the dip. And now I've tried to put it into this alt market. And the alt market is hitting, I don't know, can we say an all-time low of the year? I would say it's safe to say yes.
All-time low of the year, most definitely. I don't think we've seen prices in these coins since a year, 18 months to say the least. 18 months, since before the last bull run really took off. And they're just getting crushed. I'm sure there's quite a few people, ready to dip into Bitcoin at this time and ride that Bitcoin wave because Bitcoin does essentially lead the charge when this happens. But then we take a look at things like Ethereum, where it went from $250.
It was up at 3.
It lost $50 within an hour and a half to 2 hours. And now we're floating at 170. I think on CoinMarketCap it's actually 180. But if you're those of you that just flick on Coinbase just to get your quickie fix of what the prices are, it's 170. And my jaw dropped. We got Litecoin at $59. 49.
I mean, that's it. Again, where we were last year in December. Ethereum was $500, a Litecoin was $100. Oh, like just right on the money. And now you've got your Litecoin at half, and your Ethereum is down to 170, which is just. Now, what do you think was going on here? We have so many different platforms coming out with mainnet, with sharding, with these different things. What is going on with Ethereum?
So I think. In the grand scheme of things, Ethereum is a platform coin, and it was pretty much the first number one main platform coin. So we're talking like AOL, right? Like Internet Boom, AOL, Juno.
Remember that one?
This is what we're talking about. So, I mean, if you guys remember back in November and December, like with these all-time highs, I don't know how many exchanges literally got locked up. Stop taking new members. Our servers are full. We have to maintain our current customers so we can take on more customers. We can't even take any more. And then just dare I say the words crypto kitties, where we were waiting 14 to 22, 23, 24 hours. 24 hours for a transaction just to go through. And that's not to say that it wouldn't. I mean, these systems have been reliable, but they just get backlogged. And it's like, take a number, have a seat. You're going to be here for a while. And that's what we're seeing. So with their announcements of sharding coming out in late 2019 and Casper and by almost 2020, I mean, they're late to the game. It's like it's almost sometimes very difficult to, once something's grown so much, to all of a sudden get it to stop, turn it around, and change directions now. And we have all these little companies that are very, very quick and very, very agile and could do things a lot faster than the big guys can. And we just got competition like you wouldn't believe. So
which is great.
Which is great.
I mean, if you're a hardcore Ethereum owner, you bought in when it was $900 or $1,000 thinking it's, going, moon. And then we're down to $170. This is a hard pill to swallow, most certainly. Absolutely. And there are many other coins like Aaron's saying here that are offering the same thing, similar thing, and are also in a price point where, like the folks I'm just talking about who are, want a price of a smaller coin because that has the greater potentially to double up, triple up, quadruple up 10 times than something that's been in for as long as Ethereum has been.
And I think with as much weight as the community has in terms of visibility and being able to interact with these coins as a whole, like we can see on CoinMarketCap what the top 1,000 coins are. It's listed 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, when something makes a major jump, everybody can see that. When something makes a major jump in volume, everybody can see that. And we get a greater baseline of what's really going on with these coins because everybody's diving in, figuring out, and either jumping on the bandwagon or not. So now we're getting to the point where, is this the quote-unquote flippening?
Flippening?
The flippening. So the flippening, for those of you that may or may not know, that was kind of like a Bitcoin Cash thing, right? Like,
yeah.
Oh, well, when Bitcoin went one way and Bitcoin Cash went another way, everybody was like, no, I'm the original gangster. I'm Bitcoin Cash. I'm the true Bitcoin, and we're going to have the flippening happen where Bitcoin Cash is going to take over and Bitcoin's just going to die off. So and I'm not saying from coin to coin. I'm saying in structure and infrastructure and architecture and ability to house more people. So how many people do you just imagine in November and December that didn't even get in that are now in the game? I think Coinbase has doubled its servers, doubled its support to house and be ready for the next wave of people. Plus, we're going to get the people that are going, oh, Bitcoin's back to 20,000. Yeah. Now, we're not going to be stupid this time. We're gonna do it this time, right? So we're going to get like 2, 3, 4, 5 times the amount of people on this next bull run. And that is just no joke. And what systems are going to be able to handle it? CryptoKitty overload is not going to cut it in this next round. It's definitely going to be something to think about. So, I mean, have they proven themselves in some instances? Yes, but now we got to move forward with caution, saying, well, you guys remember that the CryptoKitties, yeah, I'm not going to do that again. I don't want to go there again.
And that's, to me, another thing that this year has been all about is the structuring. You know, the infrastructure, it's the behind the scenes things happening. So it's like in order for us to have this larger operation and to fill it with all the employees, the people that we need to start generating, revenue, we've got to make sure everything is in line, in order, up to the specs so that this beam's not going to fall and crush this person and then we're all out of a job. So it's like a lot of what I see when I talk about, Saturn being in its home sign of Capricorn. This is restructuring of this government and this Wall Street, how we look at, everything's a polarity, right? The opposite of the sign is its opposite. So like Cancer at the bottom of the zodiac, Capricorn at the top of the zodiac. Cancer is like that Main Street, I'm just my little homebody, where Capricorn is Wall Street. So we are restructuring, and Pluto's up there too, transforming Wall Street, this idea, this concept of what is this big business, what is this big government, and in order for it to be real, you got to make sure that skyscraper is not going to fall over, man. That's just, then once we have this structure built and it is sound, and we can fill it up with 1,000 people, 100, whatever it is, you get what I'm saying. Now we can start to really utilize this tool and make moves.
Absolutely. So I think we should finally bring it. We've been talking about a list of coins that we're going to bring to you. Now these are the ones that I will be personally eyeballing as we make this transition and as the planet's starting to really tighten up and put the squeeze on that price. Like pinching the hose, just building the pressure, waiting for it. Now, I'm not going to be putting in anything until we break out of the wedge that we've been showing for the past couple of weeks. Now, there's a lot that could happen. I mean, if we break up and out, I'm going to feel very, very good, very, very confident moving forward. But if we break lower and break some of these support lines that we've had, I am going to be probably migrating my stuff over to some sort of a stable coin that is currently in the market. So we're going to show those starting off at the top. So I have 10 coins. Number one, and in all honesty, it's really the coins overall that have made their way and stayed within the top 100. But you'll see if you guys look through some of the history, the volume of these coins that are trading. Now, the price may not be anything to go wild over, but the volume is still continuing in some of these coins. So it's another indicator that we can use to determine hey, people are still looking at this. People are still trading. People are still interested. So number one on this list, and it's not my favorite coin, but they've done so much. And I know, some people are going to look at me and go, Aaron, I can't believe you said that. It's Ripple, guys. It's Ripple. I know.
It's coming to a shocker even for me, guys. I know.
Now they've got several different applications for their coin and some of the inserts that they can put themselves in. I mean, they're built for world trade. So believe it or not, they have so many different applications and so many people have hopped on board. And with X Ripple being completed and now being used, I think we could see price returns greater than previous all-time highs of 350, 375.
And it's at like a quarter right
Ripple's at 27 cents right now. So just returning to the all-time high, which
it was $3. You're looking at, still growth.
It's still solid. It's still solid. Some of that Ripple is going to end up in my bag this year, baby. Some of that Ripple is going to end up in my bag. Number two, we have Stellar. Stellar, XRM. And we're locked in at 20 cents right now.
I like Stellar.
They're going to have their own exchange. They're doing a lot. They're creating a lot of partnerships. And that price point, I don't think we're ever going to see again after this year. I really don't. I really don't.
I agree. I like Stellar a little bit more than number one.
I even just like their little rocket ship logo. Anywho, number three, Cardano, ADA, Bora Bora. It's going to be
6 cents right now. 7 cents.
6 cents. So if you guys missed out on the Cardano train, talking November 2017, October 2017, now is that time to get in. And I'll tell you what, with the country currencies that are falling and the rise in coin prices, I'm waiting to see, not that I want their economy to fall and their currency not to be worth anything, but they're basically first in line to fall next. What's going to happen? Yeah, Japan, I'm sorry. What's going to happen with Cardano? So Cardano's been a big leader in Japan, and we're going to see what happens when that scale starts to tip the other way.
1, 2, and 3. What else you got?
Tron, number 4. Tron. So one of the greatest memes I saw today was just a picture of Justin Sun saying, make an announcement even if there's no announcement to make. I mean, the guy is a huge social media aspect. I mean,
Marketing
he's always
genius.
out there. He's always got something to say. He keeps the interest of all the individuals. So now we're floating at just under 2 cents at 1.8 cents. So I think there's still mad potential as the partnerships he continues to grow, swallow up other companies, and I can't wait to see what he does.
All right.
I can't wait to see what he does.
Number 5.
VeChain. So VeChain just
like
bounced
that one.
into VeChain Thor. So VeChain was floating up at $5, $6 at one point, but then they turned themselves into like 800 million coins or whatever. So it basically turned everything into a penny. And I'll tell you what, I don't know of any other coin that has been doing as well as VeChain in this bear market. Since they did that, the price has doubled. Doubled since we first talked about it on here 7 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So the next one is Zilliqa.
I like Zilliqa too.
Zilliqa is another platform coin that's going to give Ethereum a run for its money. It's just up there with the other players that already has sharding and already has some of the technology that Ethereum wants to implement here coming up. So we're running just at 3 cents in Zilliqa.
I like it.
The next, Icon. Icon, we're running at 58 cents. This is like ICO price, guys. ICO price. Like if you wanted to get in at Icon since day one, it's like day 2, really. I mean, now is the time to swallow up and pick up some Icon. And now we're talking about, yet again, another platform coin in direct competition with Ethereum. After that, this is one of those oddball ones that we've talked about, but the trading volume is huge. It's probably in the top 10 in trading volume on Binance right now. And that coin is HOT, H-O-T, Hollow Chain. And we're floating at 0.11 cents. Now, our all-time high was 1.2, 1.3 cents. So we're looking at like an 11 times drop from where we were before, or 11 times potential gain just to return to the all-time high that we had with Holochain. And Holochain has been popping up and making more and more news. They were at Consensus this year at 2018. They're starting to climb the ranks in terms of their uniquely originated ideas and their separate chains.
And they're all over the message boards. I mean, if there's 2 out of this list that I see constantly, it's Holochain and VeChain. Everyone seems to be talking about them.
Number 9, WanChain.
It's another good one.
WanChain. So if you guys haven't checked out WanChain, they're doing loans, they're doing credit, they're doing everything in the financial market that you can think of in China. Well, financial everywhere, hosted in China, but there's just so many different facets. And I mean, we were running at $6, $7 for WanChain, but now we're just teetering right around 85 cents. And the number 10.
Wow.
Coin under $1, I'm going to have to go with IOTA. I think we're getting closer to that thing. I mean, if you guys see all those little scooters on the road that you can just pick up and swipe your card and drive around and leave, Internet of Things, all of these devices, we're getting closer and closer to that time. We're starting to see more of this application and how it's connected to the blockchain to make it the sharing economy that we're using.
And that one, I think, went up to about $6, right around there, maybe even $6.40, I think, in its prime at the end of last year or beginning of this year, and then
55 cents. 55 cents.
So out of all those, let's look at that for a moment too. I mean, what Ripple is at 26 cents. That one all the way up to $3 and whatnot. IOTA probably had the most gain and loss. Going all the way up to the $6 and now being at just over 50 cents. I mean, it's
12, 13 times
when
loss,
it goes back up there, that could be definitely one that at this price point could be some serious gain.
I mean, if I have it, I don't get to quite divide up this much, but $1,000 in each coin, man, the next bull run could yield some beautiful returns. And we'll take a snapshot of this day. $1,000 in each of those top 10 coins, and we're going to start to review those later on as these prices hopefully start to turn around.
And they will. So stay tuned. We'll keep you posted.
Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing and joining us again here on
Crypto Cosm.